Good evening and welcome to this October 4th edition of EastCast. I'm Rosemary Cruz with co-anchor Larry Kaplan to bring you up to date with East activities. Last week, the different classes exhibited their enthusiasm and dedication to the school in the annual Spirit Week festivities. This week-long event began on Friday, September 22nd at the East Spirit Week Dance and concluded last Thursday with the annual Fall Sports Pep Rally. These 7 fun-filled days brought the 4 different classes together in competition to determine which had the most school spirit. From the beginning, the freshmen showed that they would not be intimidated by the upperclassmen. At the dance on Friday night, they had the largest attendance and won the dance contest, pushing them comfortably ahead of the other 3 classes. Last week, we brought you the results of the Cougar Relay, a senior win. The freshmen were ahead after Monday's cake decorating. Seniors won hall decorating for their airplane display. On Tuesday night, a strange occurrence eliminated the tug-of-war contest from this year's competition. The preliminary and consolation rounds were supposed to take place in the Beck Middle School gymnasium, with the final pulls taking place on Thursday at the pep rally. Unfortunately, a partition in the gymnasium became unattached and fell down, causing the cancellation of the entire event.
Wednesday brought on the Twister contest, which took place during each of the lunch periods in the cafeterias. The sophomores took first, the seniors second, followed by the juniors, and then the freshmen. Overall, the seniors still held on to first, increasing their lead over the freshmen, who were still in second. The sophomores, too, increased their lead over the juniors, who were now in last. As Thursday rolled around, so did the final events of Spirit Week. The results of the penny race, which took place throughout the week, were in. The juniors took first place by raising over $300 in pennies. This win put pressure on the sophomores for third place and proved that the juniors would not give up too easily. Thursday was also Color Day. Over 75% of the freshman class was decked out in red and white, winning the event. However, the seniors retained their lead with their wins in the candy guessing contest sponsored by the yearbook staff. The seniors had the most entries. There were 3,307 pieces of candy in the showcase. Closest guess was made by senior Billy Kramer, was 3,300.
Going into the pep rally, the seniors were in the lead, followed by the freshmen, the sophomores, and finally the juniors. First place was still up for grabs between the seniors and the freshmen, while the sophomores and juniors volleyed for third. The final event, the jump rope contest, took place at the pep rally. That Thursday afternoon, the atmosphere in the DeBart gym was electrified. The fall sports teams were introduced with spirited performances by the varsity and JV football cheerleaders, the Cougarettes, and the color guard. The jump rope teams from each class competed at intervals between the presentations of the athletic teams. In the end, the juniors victoriously won first place in the jump rope contest, taking away the freshmen's last chance to overtake the seniors. The final standings are as follows. The seniors in first, the freshmen in second, becoming the first freshman class to place higher than third, the juniors sneaking up from behind to capture third, and the sophomores settling for last. And how are the seniors taking the victory? Here's Christina Puglisi interviewing Senior Class President Eric Friedman with the story.
Did you expect all along that the seniors would win Spirit Week?
Well, I kind of did, yeah, because we won last year and we have a really good class. And I was a little doubtful when we first started. The dance didn't go just as well as we had planned. We were really excited for that, and we came in third and behind the freshmen and the juniors. But the next day at the relay race, the Cougar Relay, our class came together really well. So it was right there that I was convinced that we were going to go all the way and win Spirit Week this year.
How did you feel when you were being beaten by the freshmen?
Well, first of all, I really want to give credit to the freshman class. It's the first time I've ever seen a freshman class come together like this. And they did have us a little scared, but we knew that we would come back and eventually we would win.
Is there any advice you'd like to give to the other classes on how to win Spirit Week?
Well, I think for any of the classes to win Spirit Week, you have to appoint good chair people. And this year I was very fortunate. I had chair people who were really hardworking, and they made it a lot easier for me. And besides that, all the people who helped out and participated were happy to be there. They had fun participating. This was one of the best Spirit Weeks, the best I've seen in East. And just the excitement of the whole thing gets people motivated, and they just want to win, and eventually you will.
Thanks, Eric. The purpose of Spirit Week is to get everyone involved here at East, and that certainly happened this year. Congratulations to the senior class, the winners of this year's Spirit Week. This has been Christina Puglisi for EastCast.
There is no doubt that this year's Spirit Week was probably the most competitive one yet. Next year's competition ought to be exciting, with next year's sophomores defending their position over the upperclassmen, the juniors rebounding from last place, and the seniors being pressured to uphold tradition. And who knows, maybe next year's freshmen will show us who's got the most spirit. It all officially began last night for juniors interested in attending a college or university after they graduate from East. Over 200 schools were represented at Higher Education Night to distribute literature and to answer questions about their institutions. The next step for juniors is October 21st, PSATs. Later this month, counselors will visit each homeroom to schedule juniors for the PSATs.
The Foreign Literature Society held its organizational meeting last Tuesday, September 26th. The advisor is Mr. Burgess, and the club meets every Tuesday in C306. At the meetings, members work on publicity, layouts, and artwork. They are asking for short stories, poems, or any type of writing in any language. The club's major project right now is setting up a box in the library for submissions, which must also include English translations. If you are interested in joining the Foreign Literature Society, please contact Mr. Burgess or any foreign language teacher. The Cum Laude Society is offering free service to students with academic concerns. If you would like their service, you are asked to obtain a form in the guidance office and apply for a tutor. A volunteer from the Cum Laude Society will contact you within 2 days. Place and time is up to you and your tutor. The coordinator of this free tutoring service is Janice Cam, the vice president of the Cum Laude Society. And what is the Cum Laude Society? Well, its members are of the top 10% of the senior class academically. Their goal is to become active in the East community and share their talent and knowledge with others. Presently, 3 members of the society are volunteering their free time working with adults with Down syndrome, teaching them basic skills with computers. So if you're ever in need of a little tutoring, don't be afraid to ask for help from the Cum Laude Society, which will be more than happy to lend you a hand. The Girls' Citizenship Convention also took place last summer. Mary Steinberg got a chance to interview East Delegate Gina Acquaviva.
Gina, what kind of activities were involved in girls' citizenship?
A majority of the activities had to do with career orientation and learning about different things where women can lead in the world. We went to 3 lectures a day where they were either open discussion or we had guest speakers.
Gina, how were you selected for this?
Being selected, Mr. Belchikov had, put my name into the Women's Club Federation, and I also had to go for an interview. They had asked me different things. I was at first an alternate for Girls State, and from there, they knew that I had the potential and I wanted to do it, and I guess they felt that I was a good representative. I mean, I enjoyed going up there, and I represented East. I met a lot of people from different places.
Okay, what was your most memorable experience?
I guess in between every lecture, we'd all go to our different lunch, dinner, breakfast, whatever meal it was, and our own little group. We had our Top Gun 10. I met my 10 best friends who we still keep in touch with. I guess just all the conversations and meeting other people, seeing how their school ran and different events they would do.
Thank you, Gina. It sounds like it was a wonderful experience. This has been Mary Steinberg for EastCast.
On Friday, October 27th, the Ross Galleries Incorporated will be presenting an art exhibition and auction in the Cherry Hill East Auditorium. The art will be displayed from 7 to 8 p.m., and the auction begins at 8. The works range from original oil paintings, watercolors, and sculptures to original lithographs, serigraphs, and etchings. If you are interested in purchasing artwork or just seeing the collection, contact Ed Collins at 424-2222. Admission is $5. All proceeds will help sponsor the senior class trip. David Toma is coming to East. On October 30th, he will be presenting his drug alcohol prevention program to the students during the day, and in the evening we'll be providing a special program for parents. For all students interested in the field of broadcasting, the Voice of Democracy is sponsoring a broadcast script writing scholarship program during the 1989-1990 school year. Participants will be judged on their interpretation of this year's theme, Why Am I Proud of America? Judging will be based on the students' delivery, originality, and content. State winners receive all expense-paid trips to Washington, D.C. while the national finalist can be awarded up to $18,000 in scholarships. All 10th, 11th, or 12th grade students interested should contact Mrs. Carpenter in B131 for more information.
On Thursday, East Boys Gymnastics team defeated Haddon Township 89.7 to 83.8. Ari Gold's team qualified for the state meet of champions. All-around captain Alex Allen qualified in floor exercise. Previously, Alex qualified for rings and vault. Congratulations to the boys gymnastics team and Coach Lou Frank.
Cherry Hill East will hold its annual back-to-school night tomorrow, October 5th at 7:30 p.m. There will be a general meeting in the auditorium to start the evening, and all parents are asked to make sure they are on time. After the meeting, all parents are to report to their child's homeroom and follow his school schedule. The purpose of back-to-school night is to allow parents to learn more about their child's courses. Student monitors will be stationed in the halls to help out lost parents.
That concludes our October 4th edition of EastCast. Thanks to our cameraman and editor, Mr. Gordon Hampson, our advisor, Ms. Peggy Beck, and to our student cameraman, Tracy Slobodkin. Thanks also to my co-anchor, Larry Kaplan, and to Tim Brady, Michael Jen, Sameh Bhatnagar, and John Park for Spirit Week footage. Stay tuned for Film Forum with WPEN's Ken Garland and West Joe Truitt. The film is Mr. Moto's Final Warning. Film Forum follows the junior high school news. This has been Rosemary Cruz with Larry Kaplan for EastCast. Tonight we leave you with Ophelia, who was celebrating Spirit Week by wearing her red and white. Yay, East. Good night, Ophelia.
Good evening, I'm Laura Schoaf, and tonight on the West Report, our school has crowned a new Young Woman of the Year. I'll have the story for you in just a few minutes.
And I'm Drew Golan. I'll have the results of West Week in Sports.
And I'm Lauren Greenstein. The big story here at West is Addiction Awareness Week. Kicking off the Addiction Awareness Week yesterday, ex-policeman David Thomas spoke to students at Cherry Hill West. The one-time narcotics agent from Newark, New Jersey, now travels throughout the country informing communities of the dangers of drugs and the consequences of drug addiction. After the presentation, our reporter, Amy Procacci, had a chance to talk with Toma.
Hi, I'm Amy Procacci from West News. I'm here with David Toma, who just spoke to the students at West on the effects of drugs and alcohol. Mr. Toma, what was your reaction to the students? How do you think your speaking went?
Well, let me give it to you this way. I spoke for 3 hours. I screamed, I hollered, I yelled, and everything is instinctive, what I feel inside. And in conclusion, 3 hours later, they gave me a standing ovation. What do you think that meant?
The students do love you, Mr. Toma. We all love Mr. Toma. He's done so much work for schools in all the country. And how do you think your work will be, how do you think you will reach the students in our school?
I know I reach them. You know how I know? Because I read crowds well. I read people well. If you look out there right now, many, many kids are crying. Many, many people are hugging each other. They're holding each other's hands. There's a feel out there, a very, very, very warm feeling when I walked off that stage that many teachers and counselors felt as we walked off, as they were crying themselves. So I know what I accomplished. I accomplished it not because of my expertise, not because of my knowledge of the field that I'm in, and I've been doing it for 30-some-odd years, but because of the love that I gave them. And when you love people, you can educate them. It comes through. If you can't show you love them, all your knowledge in the world is not going to get through. Because everybody wants to know, do you care about me? Do you care about me enough that you're going to spend time with me and talk to me about what's in my head? See, we all have problems, Amy, each one of us. Don't necessarily have to be drugs. These kids are into so many turmoils with their homes, with their lovers, with their husbands, with their wives, with their brothers, with their sisters, with their boyfriends, with their girlfriends, with their schoolwork, whatever it might be in life. And they need someone to talk to. And they found a friend in me because I love them. I know what I'm talking about. They understand me well. I don't take any garbage from them, but I teach them in their language.
Thank you, David Toma.
Amy also spoke with some students and Principal Dr. Katz to find out what they thought of Toma's presentation.
Here with students to get their reaction on the David Toma speech. DJ, what was your reaction?
I thought it was a great speech. I never saw him before or a show, and I thought that he does a good job. He talks like a regular person, and he doesn't preach.
It was fun. It was good. Sat there for a while, but it was good.
Thank you, Lucky. So what was your view of the David Toma speech?
I thought it was very interesting and got through to a lot of people here in school, and it helped a lot, I think. And it was very touching, especially to me. It brought like a tear to my eye.
Well, I knew like what he was talking about, sort of I knew what he was talking about, and because I have friends that were into it, and I think he's a great man for trying to help all these people, and I think he succeeded.
Helen, what was your view on the David Toma speech?
Well, I don't think that he really got to the underlying issue. I think he just basically said drugs are bad, but most people have problems, and he discussed those. He just said drugs are bad. And there's only so many horror epics he can tell before it gets sort of boring. And I thought it was a bit long, a bit too long, really.
Thank you, Helen. Sure. Jenny and Rachel, what were your views on the Toma speech?
Well, as friends, it made us realize that when we do go to parties every weekend, we shouldn't take drinking so casually, because even though it's only like a weekend thing, it can really hurt people. And it can change them into like being addicted and really needing to do it all the time.
Jenny?
And I think that we realize now that friends are really important when it comes to drinking, and that friends need to talk about it, and that we should be there for our friends because they need us.
Thank you. What's your reaction on David Toma's speech?
I thought David was really good. I think he got through to a lot of people.
Thank you, Brett. Mark, what was your reaction on David Toma's speech?
Well, I thought that Toma got his point across really well. The only thing I'm afraid is that he pulled out some skeletons out of the closet, and that they're gonna go back in because he's leaving, and he's not gonna be able to help these kids.
Scott, what was your reaction on David Toma's speech?
Well, I think he had a great impact on the students, but I feel as though some students might not go forward due to embarrassment and what other people might think of them. And they might hold it in and not get the help they need.
Dr. Katz, what was your impression on the reaction of the students to David Toma's speech?
I think the students listened very carefully. I think their behavior was outstanding, and I think they got the message, and that's the important thing.
Thank you.
Monday night was Higher Education Night here at West, and over 200 representatives from colleges and universities across the country were on hand. One of the largest turnouts in recent history attested to the success of the evening. The students were able to meet and talk with admission representatives and find out more about the schools they're interested in attending.
Last Wednesday, West held the annual Young Woman of the Year pageant. Previously, the pageant was called Junior Miss. Talent ranged from singing to dancing to piano playing. After the talent portion, each girl was asked the same question: what is the biggest challenge a woman faces in today's society? After much deliberation, Sue Lowenstein was crowned Young Woman of the Year. For the talent portion, Sue sang the theme song from the hit movie Beaches, Wind Beneath My Wings. When answering the question about women's role in today's society, Sue cleverly pointed out that women will prove to be equal to men for once and all. Next week on the West Report, we'll be meeting our new Young Woman of the Year in an exclusive interview. Seniors, this week's guidance update is for you. November is the month for college early decision. This is when an applicant is informed if he has been accepted or not in December, rather than in April. The program is designed to relieve the anxieties of applicants and to allow the students to search for alternative schools. Guidance Director Dr. Nelson said that an applying early decision proves to college that you are really intent on attending. For those not applying early, Dr. Nelson stated that seniors should be writing to colleges to receive applications and beginning to plan the essays accompanying the application. Seniors should collect their college information to form a portfolio with their counselor. And for all you underclassmen, the PSATs are on Saturday, October the 21st. The fee is $7, and you can pick up more information in the guidance department. So, Joe, can you tell me about fall sports this week?
Yes, Laura, it was a busy week in fall sports. In their Olympic Conference opener last Friday, the Lions varsity football team lost 36-16 against South Jersey powerhouse Pennsauken. After the Lions took their only lead of the game on Anthony Howard's 61-yard touchdown run and Mark Cummings' two-point conversion, Pennsauken scored 4 consecutive touchdowns to drop West's record to 0-2-1. The Lions' next opponent is conference rival Highland away 7:30 this Friday evening. Last week, varsity field hockey team won 2 impressive games that raised their record to 4-1 and gave them the lead in the Olympic Conference. First, at Overbrook, last Tuesday, the Lions won a tight game 2-1. Scoring for West were Sarah Fox and Heather Ferguson. Led by a pair of goals by Nadine Holder, the Lions defeated Cinnaminson 5-0. Also scoring were Karen Wood, Sarah Fox, and Brandy Leach. Jackie Lee played a strong game in goal, registering a shutout. Last week, the boys' cross-country team ended up with a split. The number 1 team of Paul VI defeated West, but not without a fight. Ishwar Kapoor came in 3rd place overall to break up the Paul VI pack. Against Washington Township, though, West came out on top with a score of 25-38, low score winning. Top finishers included Ishwar Kapoor, Chad Hayes, Kyle Young, Jim Gannon, and Dan Weisenbaum. The team's record is now 3-1. We'll have a result of the East meet on next week's West Report. Meanwhile, in boys soccer action, the highly ranked Lions won 1 game and lost another. First, in Highland, the Lions were led by a strong defense, anchored by goalie Brian Slocken, who made 5 impressive saves. West won 2-1 on goals by Dave Cohen and Matt Spector. In non-league competition Thursday, West was upset by Woodbury 1-0, suffering their first loss of the season. Despite the loss, Brian Slocken continued to look sharp in goal as he stopped 10 shots. Finally, in girls soccer action, the Lions defeated Highland in a tough defensive struggle 2-1 last Tuesday at home. Scoring for West were Beth Atkins and Beth Blavel. Thursday at home, though, the Lions lost to Paul VI 3-0. The loss dropped the team's record to 3-2. And that's it for a busy week in West sports.
With every new year, club elections are held. Here is Alexandra, our visiting Ecuadorian student, to tell us about some of them.
Los oficiales elegidos para el capítulo de West Latino Junior Clásica Liga son Tesorero Robert Baker, Secretario Eric Chelaik, Vicepresidente Brigitte McMullen, Presidente Chris Dunn. El Club de Español también tuvo elecciones. Los oficiales elegidos son Tesorero Kevin Seltzer, Secretario Charlotte Freiberger, Vicepresidente Lisa Friedman, Presidente Simon Wong. El Club de Francés elegirá la próxima semana de octubre. Gracias.
For all of you that couldn't understand one word of her Spanish, I'll translate for you. The elected officers for the West chapter of the Latin Junior Classical League are Treasurer Robert Becker, Secretary Eric Scheller, Vice President Bridget McMullen, and President Chris Dunn. Spanish club elections also have been held. Elected officers are Treasurer Kevin Seltzer, Secretary Cheryl Freiberger, Vice President Lisa Friedman, and President Simon Wong. Spanish Club President Simon Wong says that they are planning on the traditional trip to Mi Casita. Also, trips to New York and Baltimore are also in the works. Lastly, he said that though there are already 50 members, joining is still possible. Another club is the French Club, where elections will be held in the second week of October. And now, let's find out what's hip.
Hi, I'm Shelley Hogang.
And I'm Jenny Pearson.
With
What's Hip?
With winter on the way, new styles are hitting the stores with a bang. We're here to tell you what's hip for winter fashions. The biggest fad this year is the wide variety of pants. There are so many different styles of pants, it's hard to decide which pair will make you turn heads in your school. Z Cavaricis have taken off within the last year, becoming one of the hottest items.
The reason these pants are so popular is the different buckles, chains, and pleats that most other designers would not even try to imitate. Since most of these things are on the top, girls are wearing short jackets that can be found almost anywhere. Guys are wearing shirts with not much on them, tucked in. Another popular style is skids. These are plaid baggy pants that you see almost everyone wearing.
One of the newest hip things is tapestry. Tapestry everything from head to toe. Just because we say something is hip doesn't mean you have to follow it. We think it's hip to start your own trends and wear what makes you feel the best.
That is it for this week's What's Hip. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
Some West graduates are providing lots of musical excitement tonight, and it's still not too late to be a part of it.
Hi, just moments from now, the rock band The Chasers are going to be performing in our very own high school auditorium.
The publicity has been great, from all the posters, bumper stickers, and flyers. There isn't a student in the school that doesn't know.
The really neat thing about The Chasers is that 4 out of the 5 members are graduates from our very own high school. Most importantly, though, they're totally and completely against the use of drugs. In fact, the class of Respect for Drugs are the ones who are sponsoring the Chasers coming to our high school, in coalition with some other activities during this week, which happens to be Drug Awareness Week.
So, for those of you who are sitting in front of your television sets, get up, get in your cars, and drive over to West because it's not too late to see the Chasers in concert tonight. Make sure you have your ID card and $4. This is Joanne Elias
and Shauna Myers reporting for the West News.
Parents, don't forget to mark next Wednesday evening, October 11th, on your calendars. It's back to school night once again. Your chance to meet your child's teachers and hear all about what they'll be doing in class this school year. It starts at 7:30 p.m., so be sure to attend. That's back to school night here at West next Wednesday evening. Next week, all Cherry Hill students get a day off after putting in 4 full weeks of school. All schools are closed this Monday for the Yom Kippur and Columbus Day holidays.
Stay tuned here on Cable 18 for Junior School News, followed by the first film forum of the school year. In tonight's program, hosts Ken Garland and Mr. Truitt will examine the role of the detective in the 1939 film Mr. Moto's Final Warning. And next Wednesday evening, Cable 18 will present a live call-in program to commemorate Computer Learning Month. The topics, encyclopedias and databases stored on CDs, and electronic music with MIDI interfaces. So watch for next week's live computer special here on Cable 18. That's it for West Report tonight. Thank you for watching from all of us on the West Report.